Hello, I'm Lydia and you're listening to Lens from the Fens. Hello everyone, my name is Lydia and this is an introduction episode for Lens from the Fens. I live in Lincolnshire and for a while now I've wanted to create a listening platform related to wildlife photography and nature stories. At the time of this recording, it is during the COVID-19 pandemic, and this is where my idea for a podcast came around, because at the moment we are restricted to where we are allowed to travel and how long we can stay outside for. So, as the title suggests, I live in an area called the Fens, which is a coastal plain in the east of England in the UK, stretching from Boston in the north all the way down to Cambridge in the south, with Peterborough to the west and crossing to Norfolk and parts of Suffolk. So it is a very flat landscape, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it is devoid of life, as the wildlife around me is just as abundant as they can be in large forests, in valleys and along coastlines. So Lens in the title relates to my passion for wildlife photography. It developed from quite a young age, from being really interested in anything to do with wildlife and nature, watching documentaries, and the photography side actually evolved from my art studies during college around 6 years ago. So over time my passion for photography evolved from that, and it is now where I thoroughly enjoy just going out in my own time, seeing what wildlife is around me. So a lot of my work, both old and recent, has almost all been taken in and around where I live in the Fenlands, and I'm simply amazed at what can be found less than half an hour away from home. So my podcast will mostly involve sharing my personal encounters, stories behind my favourite images, and also odd encounters that happened outside of the Fens. I will also be talking about nature stories that happened in mainstream news or local accounts from other people that I have heard of. And I would also love to hear from you, the listener, whether there's been any wildlife encounters that you've experienced, whether when you were young or something that happened recently. So if this podcast becomes successful, I'll be providing an email address in which you can send your stories, and I will hopefully read them out on future episodes. I'll also be happy to provide advice and tips on wildlife photography. Most will be based on my own experience and the fact that I do only use Canon camera models, so I won't be able to provide much help on any other camera models that I am unfamiliar with. I'll also be happy to provide advice on fieldcraft, which is essential for most wildlife photography, as you do not want to be seen or heard by any animals that you are hoping to photograph. So this will involve the correct gear to wear and use when you're out in an exposed area, identifying animal trails to find out where they live, and also I would like to provide help for identifying mammal and bird calls. So that is a brief overview of what to expect from this podcast. I hope you are intrigued with what I have to offer for future episodes, and I'm really excited as to see where this leads in the near future. So I hope that you stay tuned for the episodes that I'll be bringing out over the next few weeks, and I'd like to take this opportunity to say stay safe, and I hope you enjoy what's to come with Lens from the Fens. My podcast cover shows my own image created using Canva. The theme music is provided by Purple Planet Music. Check out their royalty-free music at purple-planet.com.